I'm gonna do it, I wanna do it. You know?
I'm ready.
Right. And then, the good thing about it, I was thinking with you guys having 7 days on and 7 days off, the 7 days that you have them, I can make sure I'm here in Huntsville in case you need me. And the 7 days off, I can do whatever I want to do,
Go where you want to go, yeah.
And who knows, maybe him and I would get to a place where if he needs me to keep the kids, I would be willing to do that for him.
Because that's what used to happen in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes he would call you and ask you about watching them, whether that was because we were going to go out of town or, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So hopefully, we'll get to that place where, he could call me and I could say, oh yeah, I'll keep him this week for you or a couple of days if you got to go out of town and do something.
What started as a quiet tension in the background has now exploded into something nobody can ignore. And this time, it's not just whispers, rumors, or subtle shade being thrown behind closed doors. This time, it's loud, direct, and impossible to look away from. Melody's mother, the same woman who stayed calm while everything around her seemed to fall apart, has finally reached her breaking point. And when she spoke, she didn't hold anything back.
What's up, Instagram? Listen, really quickly, a lot of y'all been inboxing me. Some of you have been texting me, asking me what is going on, what is up with this video that Martell Holt has decided to post today. I really don't know. I have no idea where his mind is, why the hell he done took it to social media at that. However, since he keeps saying he got some stuff to get off his chest and he got to put the truth out and all of that, then I'm gonna get some stuff off my chest too. Like, it's not gonna be no one-sided anything, ever. So, I'm waiting just like y'all, and I'm waiting to hear what his truth is, so that way I can go ahead and put my truth out as well. You know what I'm saying? And my truth gonna be the truth. So, I'm waiting like you guys. I don't know I don't know what he's thinking. Kind of disappointed, to be honest, because I thought we had gotten past the whole going to social media thing, but it's all good. But y'all can stop inboxing me because I don't know. I'm waiting too.
For years, she watched from the sidelines. She saw the interviews, the edited scenes, the online debates, and the constant questioning of her daughter's character. She stayed silent, believing that eventually the truth would speak for itself. But what nobody expected was that the silence would turn into something much louder, something that would shake the entire situation to its core. Because when she finally confronted Nell Fletcher publicly, it wasn't just emotional, it was explosive. Fans didn't just react, they were completely shaken. And the question now is simple. What pushed her to this point?
No, you should be shaking your dang on head at yourself. I ain't did. You always doing it. You was doing it 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing it. No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted to.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
And
you said it multiple times.
There's a possibility, because like me.
Well, we know you were cheating.
It's okay. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not
if I knew it was going to destroy what we had, it wouldn't have been like it is.
To understand how things got this intense, you have to go back to the beginning, before the tension became obvious, before the names started being called out, and before everything turned into a public battlefield. Melody's journey hasn't been easy. From the outside, it looked like she had everything together: confidence, success, and a strong presence that made her stand out. She carried herself with grace, even when things around her were messy. But behind that image was a different reality, one filled with pressure, emotional strain, and constant scrutiny. Her mother saw all of it. She watched her daughter go through moments that would break most people: public criticism, relationship struggles, and the kind of attention that doesn't just fade away when the cameras stop rolling. And through all of that, she chose to stay in the background, not because she didn't care, but because she believed her daughter needed to handle things in her own way.
It's a wrap for Melody Cherie Rogers on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She's officially announced that she will not be returning to the reality TV series. Look, there have been a lot of signs that Melody was done with OWN, that she was done with Carlos, because she unfollowed him. She's said some things on social media, and most recently, she revealed some things about her issues with the show and how it's being produced. And someone a producer on her show basically wanted to be her TV manager, and when she said no, she felt as if there was retaliation.
But over time, things started to feel off. What seemed like normal reality TV drama began to look more calculated. Conversations didn't feel natural anymore. Reactions seemed forced, and the way Melody was being portrayed started to shift in a way that didn't sit right. At first, it was easy to dismiss. After all, reality TV is known for editing and storytelling. But then came the patterns, the repeated moments where Melody was placed in a negative light, even when the full story wasn't being shown.
Well, y'all, at midnight, Melody Cherie Rogers released her statement stating that she would no longer be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. After 9 seasons of sharing her life with us, she has decided to part ways with the show.
And that's when the name Nell Fletcher started coming up more often. At first, it was just talk, people mentioning her influence, her involvement, her behind-the-scenes presence. Nothing concrete, nothing confirmed, just whispers. But whispers have a way of growing louder. As time went on, more people began connecting dots, scenes that didn't add up, decisions that didn't seem to come from Melody herself, situations that felt like they were being shaped rather than simply happening. And through all of this, Melody's mother was watching. She didn't jump to conclusions, she didn't immediately react. Instead, she observed, she listened, she paid attention to the details that others might overlook. And what she saw didn't sit well with her, because from her perspective, this wasn't just about entertainment anymore. It was about her daughter's image, her reputation, her emotional well-being. But even then, she stayed quiet. She held on to the belief that things would eventually balance out, that the truth would come forward without her needing to step in, that her daughter's strength would be enough to carry her through. But then, something changed. The tension that had been building quietly suddenly started to surface in a more obvious way. Online conversations became more intense, fans started taking sides, and the narrative around Melody became more divided than ever. Some people supported her, others questioned her, and in the middle of it all, the pressure kept building. But here's the twist. It wasn't just the public reaction that pushed things to the edge. It was what was happening behind the scenes. According to those close to the situation, there were conversations happening that didn't sit right, discussions about storylines, about how certain moments should be presented, about what would create the most impact. And somehow, Melody kept ending up at the center of it. Not in a way that felt organic, but in a way that felt controlled. That's when her mother's patience started to wear thin, because to her, it looked like her daughter wasn't just dealing with drama, she was being placed in it, positioned in ways that didn't reflect who she really was. And the more she watched, the more it started to feel intentional. Still, she held back until she couldn't anymore. What nobody expected was how quickly everything would shift from quiet frustration to a full-blown public confrontation. It happened in a moment that felt almost unreal. No warning, no buildup that the public could see, just a direct, powerful call-out that immediately grabbed everyone's attention. Melody's mother didn't hint, she didn't suggest, she spoke clearly, and she said exactly what was on her mind. And the name she said was Nell Fletcher. In that moment, everything changed. Fans were stunned. Social media exploded. People who had been following the situation suddenly found themselves witnessing something much bigger than they expected. Because this wasn't just drama between cast members. This was a mother stepping in and calling out what she believed had been happening all along. And she didn't hold back. She spoke about manipulation, about control, about the feeling that her daughter's story was being shaped in ways that weren't fair. And the way she said it, it wasn't calculated. It was emotional, raw, and impossible to ignore. But here's where things get even more intense. this wasn't just about one moment. It was the result of years of watching, holding back, and hoping things would improve. And when she finally spoke, it wasn't just frustration, it was everything she had been holding inside. The reaction was immediate. Some fans supported her completely. They saw her as a protective mother who had finally reached her limit. They believed she was saying what needed to be said. Others were shocked by how public it was. They questioned whether this would make things worse. But no matter what side people were on, one thing was clear. The conversation had changed. This wasn't something that could be ignored or brushed aside. And then came the aftermath. As clips of the confrontation spread, people started revisiting old moments, looking at past episodes differently, reanalyzing interactions that once seemed harmless. Suddenly, everything was under a microscope, and Nell Fletcher found herself at the center of it all. Some defended her, saying there was no proof of anything intentional. Others pointed to patterns they believed supported what Melody's mother was saying. The debate grew louder. But behind all of that noise was something deeper. For Melody, this wasn't just about public opinion. It was about how all of this affected her personally. Because while people argued online, she was dealing with the emotional weight of it all. Her mother saw that. She saw the stress, the exhaustion, the way constant scrutiny can slowly wear someone down. And that's what pushed her to act. Not for attention, not for drama, but because she felt like staying silent was no longer the right choice. And that decision changed everything. As the situation continued to unfold, it became clear that this wasn't going to fade away quickly. More people spoke out, more opinions surfaced, and the tension between everyone involved only grew stronger. But through it all, one thing remained at the center of the story: the relationship between a mother and her daughter. Because at its core, this wasn't just about reality TV, it was about protection, about standing up for someone you love when you feel like they're being treated unfairly. And whether people agreed with how she handled it or not, they couldn't deny the emotion behind it. It was real, it was raw, and it was impossible to ignore. In the end, what this situation really showed is how quickly things can change when someone decides they've had enough. Silence can last for years, but once it breaks, it can't be undone. And now, everything feels different. The dynamics, the conversations, the way people see the situation as a whole. Because once something is brought into the light, it doesn't just disappear. It forces people to look closer, to question more, to see things they might have missed before. And that's exactly what's happening now. The story isn't over. If anything, it feels like it's just getting started. Because when emotions run this deep, and when truths, whether confirmed or questioned, are spoken this boldly, there's always more to come. And the biggest question now isn't just what happened, it's what happens next.